Welcome to Quantum Finance. My name is Parker. I'm the head trader here, but I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. So in today's video, we'll take a look at the economic data, we'll look at the news, we'll do a market recap, we'll look at the trading opportunities, and in the video, we'll go over what economic data we have coming up for the rest of the week. And remember, if you enjoy the content, feel free to like and subscribe. So today we did have US existing home sales come in better than forecasted here at 4.58. And now we'll look at some news. So the odds of a 25-point hike tomorrow has risen to 83.4%. And if you look here, just 2 weeks ago, it was like an 80% chance of a 50 basis point hike. So you can see how just fast, the market reacts to this banking crisis here. So it's looking like it's almost written in stone that tomorrow we will get a 25 basis point hike. We have the U.S. saying they're looking at ways to guarantee all bank deposits if this banking crisis does spread. And if they do, that would be guaranteeing 18 trillion in U.S. bank deposits, which is 75% of the U.S. GDP. Here we have existing home sales jumping 14.5% in February, which is the best month here since July of 2020. We have Tether minting 2 billion more USDT. Yeah, now so let's take a look at the charts here. So starting here in the debt market, we'd have a green day in the 10-year yield, bouncing off this lower end of this daily range here. As you can see, massive wick off this lower extreme on the weekly chart. Dollar, red day on the dollar, getting continuation to the downside, breaking through yesterday's lows down here at the lower end of this daily range. Still rolling here on the weekly chart. S&P 500, as you can see, we did get a massive gap up above that midline. We did wick down and hold it, and we just got a nice green day here, poking through the midline on the weekly as well. Looking at crypto, we'll start here with XRP because we finally got it, boys. We got that descending wedge breakout that we were talking about. And I've been mentioning this really tight weekly squeeze we'd had here for a while, and it looks like that squeeze is going to try to fire to the upside here. We are currently up 26% on the day. We have gone from 37 cents to now we're up here at 47 cents. So, yeah, really nice to see this. Shout out to the XRP Army. Yeah, this is what we like to see. So let's hope we get some nice continuation here. This next resistance we're going to be running into is up here around 55 cents. So it'd be really nice to see if we can break through that. Bitcoin. Green day here on Bitcoin, didn't get too much of an extension, just kind of barely poking through yesterday's highs, flipping green on the week, sitting up here at this upper end of the range. Oil, pretty big green day here, and oil making its way back up to this previous support here from December. Pulling into this support down here, as you can see all the wicks here on the weekly chart. Gold, big red day in gold, just pulling back from this massive move it's had, wicking down back below inside of this upper extreme here on the weekly chart. Trying to get this midline here on the daily to catch up so it can get some continuation to the upside. Silver, red day here in silver as well, just getting back inside that upper band here, just kind of pulling back. Still above the midline on that weekly chart. So now we'll take a look at the trades. So as you saw, we did have a massive gap up here on the SPY. Sorry, I'm just getting my charts a little easier to read here. As you see, we this was yesterday. We had that move, that solid up move here, and then the chop, and then we got the massive gap up. And then we just we pulled back at the open, then just kind of chopped sideways before getting a nice strong push into the close. With that 30-minute, as you can see here, coming in, catching a bid, and pushing it up higher towards the upper extreme here. And we did talk about this kind of trend we had going here yesterday. Yeah, we are getting up here towards the upper end of that trend line. We can look at the daily, look at the volume we kind of got. Big gap up, nice green day, but, the past 2 days have seen significantly lower volume than we had last week. But, pretty much just all buying the past couple days. All right, so let's get into the trades. So for the trades today, I want to talk about relativity because relativity is like extremely important in the market. And what I mean by that is like the relativity between the SPY, the S&P 500, and the Nasdaq, like the Qs, because it is extremely important when it comes to trading that you have to watch the overall market, especially if you're trading like certain stocks, like larger cap stocks. And sometimes tech is a lot stronger than just like the overall market. So tech will outperform like the S&P 500. And that is exactly what we got today. But we'll start here with the SPY and then we'll go into like how important relativity is. So as you can see, we did get the big gap up, and then we got a broadening descending channel here, kind of like we got yesterday into the close. And then we got our break with our momentum shift in the squeeze, which got us a move to the open, but we did get rejected before, pulling back and then getting continuation to new highs. This level here, I'm pretty sure this is from last Thursday. That kind of level it was chopping through there. But now we'll talk about the relativity because I want to show you guys this. So I like to have my charts like this with the SPY and the Nasdaq right on top, and I have to watch these. But look at these patterns. They do follow each other a lot, but the patterns can differ. So you see how we had this like big broadening descending wedge here. This pattern is like kind of ugly here. It kind of got like a false break and then a retest before making a move. But look how much cleaner this move was here on the Qs, right? This was just a nice falling wedge, a lot cleaner than this broadening wedge. A lot tighter of a range. And we also got that momentum shift with the perfect squeeze. And you see how like the SPY up here got rejected at the open where the Qs got pushed through it, right? So when you're drawing your patterns, right, to start the day, you're going to want to wait till like 11:30, right? You're going to want to wait till like 11:20, 11:30 before you draw the patterns. Because if you started drawing your patterns like as soon as you kind of saw movements like here, right, you could see this falling wedge and you could have made a move, but that's not the best move. So you're going to want to wait for the larger move. So you're going to want to wait to draw your patterns till 11:30. So say at like 11:30 you're drawing these patterns, right? And you're trying to think of like which one to trade. Like just zoom out a little bit here. I mean, you have a monster gap up here in the SPY. I mean, you got one too in the Qs, but look where the Qs pulled into. The Qs pulled perfectly at a double bottom bounce here at yesterday's highs. And see how much overextended the SPY was compared to yesterday's highs. So the SPY had a relatively much larger gap up compared to the Qs, and the Qs pulled in with this bullish pattern into a very strong support level. And you can also see this level here that I drew. This was Thursday's highs right here. So you see we got on the Qs here, we got the double bottom off yesterday's highs inside of this falling wedge with the breakout right there on top of Thursday's highs. So just a much cleaner setup here on the Qs, on the Nasdaq, on the technology sector than you did on the overall S&P 500. Because you see, you got your squeeze here after the momentum had already gone, positive, right? But here you got a nice squeeze while the momentum was still shifting to the upside. So if you're looking at this, you see the bullish patterns forming on both the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Instead of just trading the SPY every time, you can like decide which one looks better. And today it would have been the Qs. So today you would have want to go with the Qs for the call options instead of the SPY. I know for most of my videos I pretty much only talk about the SPY. I haven't really talked about relativity. But since I started my YouTube channel, this was like probably like one of the most obvious days where relativity was, extremely important. Because you could have made this trade here, like, I mean, you wouldn't want to buy this right here on the SPY because you're buying into like on this breakout, because you're buying into VWAP and you have the upper bands here, so there's not a lot of room to the upside. You would want to wait, see if you could get a squeeze, which you did, and if you got in here, I mean, you could have made a nice trade here. And if you had your stop loss down here, I mean, it would have worked, right? But look at how much nicer and easier and like much cleaner of a move it was, here on the Qs. Like here, you had this big drop, and it could have, like, based on time decay, based on the contracts you had, could have stopped you out just based on this big drop. But look, we didn't really have anywhere near that kind of drop, right? We got a drop, but it wasn't like this far deep into the price action. It happened after it already extended a lot, like way up higher. So yeah, so today we went with the Qs for the trade. We went with, hold on, let me pull these up. We went with call options here on the Qs. Because as you can see, technology was leading the way. Yeah, like Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, Google. I mean, they all had strong days here. As you can see, just monster rips. So we did go with the 308 strike call contracts here. So your entry was here on this momentum shift, right? On this breakout. Right in there. So if you're getting here on this breakout, you're looking at about a, I don't know, we'll call it 57-cent entry. And on that move back up here into VWAP, you're looking at a 40% gain. And on that move up to retest the high of day, you're looking at about 109% gain. And then obviously if you held into the close, you're looking at a monster gain up here around close to 400%. So yeah, really nice trade here on the Qs. Technology had a nice day, strong move here. There was some other trades I wanted to go over. We did have Bank of America also up here. You can see it like right here, third on the list. Yeah, I want to go over this one. Because this one didn't, I thought this would be a lot better trade than it was. I had higher hopes for this trade, but it just really didn't work out as we wanted it to. So you see, this was like a Bank of America, obviously part of this banking crisis. And this was kind of like a recovery trade, as you can see it kind of breaking this downtrend. And so we had the downtrend break in the morning. We kind of pulled back into it, and we had the trade line pulling up as resistance or as support right on top of that downtrend line. And we also had a squeeze to the upside with upward momentum, right? So you had your squeeze with upward momentum here. And I mean, this made a move, right? But it didn't really, I thought this would make a higher move. Honestly, I thought this kind of break the highs. Well, I mean, you could have taken this trade, but I mean, if you didn't take profit up in here as you're getting into these highs, I mean, you're just getting stopped out immediately. Yeah, and this has another thing to do with relativity while we're at it. So you can see we stopped out here, or it really topped out here. But look at the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ over here on the left. When the Bank of America is topping out, you have downward momentum in the overall market. So if you're in this Bank of America squeeze trade, right, you have to notice that there is downward momentum in the overall market. So you have to take that into account when you're in your trade, when you're in your game plan. Because if you see downward momentum and weakness in the overall market, you're going to want to take some profit at least, if not just get out of the position and wait for, more of a momentum shift. But even we did get this big momentum shift here into the close, but as you can see, Bank of America just didn't do anything. And just financials in general, as you can see here in the middle chart, just flat all day. And another reason I thought this trade would work out too, work out better than it did. It worked out, but we also had that momentum shift squeeze to the upside here in the financial ETF. But yeah, Bank of America, that's just one of those trades that, it had a move, had a nice move off that squeeze, but didn't really give us the type of continuation we were looking for there. Let's see, there's one more trade I wanted to show. Or was it NIO? Yeah, it was NIO. This is an electric car company, I'm pretty sure. As you can see here, we got the big gap up, the push up, the consolidation. You got your squeeze with your momentum shift to the upside, and then your retest of new highs. This wasn't, the best trade, but I mean, it was a nice squeeze that I wanted to show that you could have taken advantage of here. We can zoom out so you can kind of see what kind of trade this was. As you can see, this is a breakout trade above that midline. And that midline is sitting there at 909, and that's what that yellow, that line was. I drew kind of a line here at that 909 level, so I could kind of have an idea where that daily midline was at. And as you can see, we kind of pulled in right there above it before consolidating and getting the squeeze to the upside. But yeah, that was pretty much the only trades I really wanted to go over today. There was a nice trade in the Qs. Bank of America, there was a trade, but not a good one. And then NIO was decent. But your best trade was definitely here in the NASDAQ to take advantage of this strength here in the technology sector. So now we'll look at the economic data we have coming up. I'm sure most of you know if you've watched the other videos, we do have the FOMC interest rate decision tomorrow. So yeah, definitely if you're going to be trading tomorrow, definitely watch out, because there could be some crazy moves go down based off however this turns out. So that'll do it for the video. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.